Hello, welcome to the new video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the current rank 1 in the world team from me, Weedle. We're going to have a team here with XL Diggersby. And Diggersby is going to be, of course, one of the Pokemon that are going to be very interesting for the next season, as Pokemon is going to get actually a major buff by getting Fire Punch buffed. While you might think, okay, it's a non-step move on a Pokemon that still doesn't really do that much damage with this move, how impactful can it be? I feel like it's actually going to be quite impactful. And the main reason why I think this is the case is because this Pokemon has a lot of matchups where it is requiring to really have ground type damage being neutral. Just because before Quick Attack plus Fire Punch we're not really doing as much. But there are some matchups that you're going to be able to flip or just have greater matchups generally speaking against those Pokemon. One of them, for example, would be the Mandibuzz matchup. We're going to now be able to do a little bit more damage against this Pokemon, which can help out in the long term because this matchup is quite close. And so basically, what I want to say with this one here is that Fire Punch on Diggersby as a buff I think is going to be bigger than people might expect, and this is something with the new season anyway. I do think that a lot of the changes are going to be a little bit bigger than it might suggest based on what we see currently, just because there are a lot of small individual matchups that are going to be definitely a bit more towards certain Pokemon now. And I feel like it's going to be a very interesting season going to be ahead there. But also, yeah, again, Diggersby is going to be a very strong Pokemon. Here again, this is going to be a rank 1 in the world team, the current rank 1 in the world team from me, Weedle. Yeah, good friend as well, like shout to you. Mostly gonna see you in EOIC, I would imagine. EOIC, I'm going to be there as well, so if you're there as well, feel free to say hello. I'm always looking for some Galarian Corsola trades from anyone. I have now, I think, around 10 Galarian Corsola already. And so, yeah, definitely if you're there, say hello. But anyway, we're going to see here the Azumarill. Not going to have a great time against the Feraligatr. We should be able to win this battle here. And we can move on to the next opponent. There's one more thing that I cannot tell you. I had horrible lag during this battles. And you might think, oh, this is what he says all the time. But I was able to fix it a little bit for my last 3 battles. And they went so much better because I was able to fix it. And the thing that I did is, I uninstalled the game. I uninstalled the game and I reinstalled it. And while I have to say it is not fixed by any means, it is definitely way better running so far from the few games I did play afterwards. And I also installed all of the assets again. So just for you, maybe try it out. Maybe it's going to be a little bit better for you as well if you're going to just uninstall the game, reinstall it again and see on how it's going to work afterwards. Because at least for me, that really helped me out by trying to help preventing a little bit of the lag, because I definitely had a lot of battles here today as well again, where it came down to me losing a fast move by swapping into a Pokemon, which I should have not lost, and that's something that is just a little bit annoying for me, and I always like to kind of try to avoid, and that's like the one thing that kind of makes me also annoyed at playing the game. But I have to say, after I reinstalled the game, it is definitely working out a little bit better for me. Anyway, let's move on here to the battles. We're going to have Carping against us. It's going to be an interesting battle here nonetheless as well. We're going to see the Moonblast coming through. And I fully expect the opponent to use a shield here. But the opponent actually kind of surprises me here because they decide to, never mind, use a shield. I'm completely wrong with that. I thought they actually let the move go through, but I was wrong, so it's totally fine. We're going to be able to go for the Trailblaze. We're going to boost ourselves up. We still have a shield. We can use a shield here as well. And with this, we're going to be able to go for the full farm down, have a ton of energy. The opponent's going to swap into their Feraligatr. We can knock them out with the Trailblaze, and this is going to be a very good game, as we're going to be able to move on now to the next opponent. Moving on, let's take a look more at the battles. This is one thing that happened the entire time, by the way, with this team. There are 3 Pokemon that really are tough for this team to deal with. Anything else is kind of okay. There is one that's called Talonflame, there's one that's called Dunsparce, and there's one that's called Drifblim. And out of the 15 battles I did with this team, I do think that at least half of them are those Pokemon. And that is definitely not really showcasing the actual meta, I would say. I don't think it's like what usually would be happening. It was just very unlucky with the matchups they had, which is fine. Like again, at the end of the day, you kind of want to see on how teams actually work, and that's definitely something that is something that impacted me here a little bit, where I just didn't have the correct matchups a lot of times. Of course, like you're not always gonna get the correct matchups, but I felt like I was kind of unlucky a lot of times with the lead that I got, which is fine. But as you can see here, we're gonna go up now against the Wigglytuff. We're still gonna go for the Fire Punch to try to bait the opponent here to use a shield, which does work out quite well. I can go for a Scorching Sands next, which is going to knock them out most likely if it's going to connect. Let's find out here. It does get the KO, and in comes. Let's see what Pokemon is coming in next. It's going to be that Primeape. It's going to be a very close matchup here. We're going to go for the Hydro Cannon. This is going to be able to knock them out, but they're very likely going to use a shield here, as expected. And so we are forced to use a shield as well. This is going to be an awkward one. It's going to be the Rage Fist. Can we still get to the move in time? The opponent catches the move. They would have had a Rage Fist anyway at this point, I'm fairly certain. But yeah, they decided to catch the move here. Good play by the opponent. It's going to be a good game, and we can move on to the next opponent. Phenomenal lead for us, and we're gonna see here the Dunsparce swapping in against us, which is gonna be totally okay, because now we can play this out really nicely. We can go for lunge, we're gonna be able to go into the Diggersby, and the opponent is now attack drop, but also, if we're gonna go for one Scorching Sands, we should put them into quick attack range, allowing us then to get a ton of energy and a lot of fire punches, hopefully, against the opponent's other grass type Pokemon there. That would be really good for us, so Scorching Sand is, and I hope that they're not gonna go down from this one, that they can get a ton of energy here, which is exactly what's going to happen, but they actually decided to swap out first, allowing me now to go for another fire punch, and I decided to swap out of here, of course, because the opponent switch locked in here. I can go for the Poison Sting down, but I also decided to use a shield here. While it's going to be a resisted Moonblast, it's still going to chunk quite a bit, and my goal here is to go for the full farm down to keep as much energy as possible, just to basically try to get a knockout here against most likely the opponent's incoming Dunsparce. Let's find out exactly. Dunsparce coming back in. We are going to be able to now go ahead and go for the Trailblaze, get the shield. We can go for another Trailblaze, get here maybe even the KO. Let's find out. The opponent is going to decide to let the move go through, so we had +1, and the opponent swaps out into the Whiscash, which is definitely a mistake, as we can go for the lunge now. The opponent could let the move go through here, which they do. They still have a shield left, but I don't really care too much about it, because we can use a shield here, and now they're at -2 attack with a Whiscash against 2 of my Pokemon. And yeah, I don't think that this is going to work out for them. At least here, the opponent is gonna try their best. So look at them. They're gonna go for a charge move. Let's see how much a double debuffed Scald is gonna do here. Super effective. I'm not gonna be able to knock us out. Not even close. And so we're gonna be able to get the KO here without even revealing our final Pokemon. Next opponent, Gastron lead. That's actually going to be a very solid lead for us. We're going to have here the access to the Trailblaze. I'm just going to go straight for it. I don't really care. I either get a ton of damage onto them, or I'm going to be able to get the shield. And I'm going to take the shield. I take the shield even more, I feel like, because this is going to allow us to yeah, even pressure them a bit further, and they actually go for the better move for me as well. They decided to go for the Earth Power, which I decided to use a shield against. And now, look at this. The Dugong is coming back in, and the Dugong is not going to have a great time here. I can even go for the bait move again, trying to debuff them. Let's find out. It is going to work out as well here, as we're going to now swap out into the Feraligatr. We can take a hit. It is going to be the Icy Wind, and the opponent is like so far behind in this matchup already. We're gonna let the move go through. It is going to be the Drill Run coming through very likely, exactly, and we can get a ton of energy here. As I swap out into the Gas Run, oh no, I can still go for another charge move, and I still have enough coverage left against this Pokemon in order to even knock it out just with the Feraligatr. And with this, we end such a commanding spot. We have a Pokemon advantage, we have switch advantage, we have shield advantage, we have basically advantage for every single thing. And then there is Talonflame. And you might think, oh, why did he swap out of here? The funny thing is, they have no chance of winning this really anymore, unless they really play it very specific, because what we can do now is, we can use a shield here. Actually, it doesn't really matter, like I don't really care too much about that, but I am only one fast move away from my Feraligatr to get to another charge move, which means even if they're gonna swap out of here into the other Pokemon, catch the move and maybe knock me out with their Talonflame, I can still get another Shadow Claw in before the opponent would have gotten an Incinerate. I would have still got my charge move off and would have still knocked them out there, but of course it didn't really go that way. It's a little bit less complicated than I would have thought here. I can just knock them out with a Diggersby and win the battle with 3 Pokemon remaining. And yes, I have to say I definitely got a little bit unlucky with a lot of the drift leads, or maybe the meta just shifted. To be fair, I haven't been really playing all of my battles recently, mainly also due to lag. And again, I would really recommend you to maybe try out what I tried out by just uninstalling the game, installing it back again, putting all the stuff in again, downloading the assets, and then try to play again. At least for me, it definitely felt like it was a little bit better. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't perfect whatsoever, but definitely was way more playable than what I had beforehand. Which is kind of sad because you don't really see it too many times in like the videos. Like the videos kind of look clear, but this is mainly because it's sped up gameplay. And basically, if you have like 1 or 2 frame drops, you don't see it at all. Here, for example, you saw a little bit of a frame drop. It cost me most likely 1 fast move again, and this can be definitely deciding some battles. But also against something like Driftball here, kind of what I want to say as well is that Fire Punch with the buff is going to help with that matchup as well. For example, here, this is nearly the range where Fire Punch would knock them out there if it would be buffed, and that's kind of nice because, like, again, Fire Punch buff going to make the Diggersby definitely one of the strongest Pokemon to build for the upcoming season. And I wonder if they're gonna nerf Quick Attack eventually as well, just because of this Pokemon. This is like kind of the only Pokemon that is running Quick Attack consistently. I think there's still Meloetta that does it in the... I think it's Meloetta with Quick Attack in the Master League, but anything else doesn't really run this move. So could see that if Diggersby is getting a little bit out of hand, that they might try to give the Quick Attack a similar treatment than what the Mudshot got. But anyway, we're gonna see here the opponent having the Primeape in again. We can let the move go through here as well, and they're gonna knock us out, which is fine. But we are gonna be able to take any hit with our Ariados, and we should do a lot of damage already with just the Trailblaze, so I'm not really too worried. I'm let the move go through. It's going to be the Rage Fist, of course. Doesn't even do half. We can go for the Trailblaze. This is going to be able to get our own boost in as well. They are not going to go down from it, but they're going to swap out of here, and they still have most days something stored there. But here's the thing with Corsola, which is like a little bit of the issue for this Pokemon as well. Diggersby is a hard wall. While Quick Attack doesn't do any damage back, the opponent does only do resisted or double resisted damage, while we still have the neutral Scorching Sands coming through, which even has the chance to debuff the opponent's attack, making this a very good matchup for Diggersby. And we kind of want to get out of here with a ton of energy, and this is kind of exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go for the Overfarm. I can now go for the Fire Punch at 100 energy, because now I have all the energy in the world. This might not knock them out, but it's going to put them into Quick Attack down range, which is hilarious because it's a bulky Ghost type Pokemon. But of course, every Quick Attack does 1 HP. They go into the Primeape. I don't really care. I can use a shield here. It's mostly just a Rage Fist, which is fine. But I am going to be able to keep my Diggersby safe. And in comes the Dunsparce. Here, I would love to get a debuff. If I get an attack debuff, it's kind of game over. It's going to be an attack debuff here already. That's great for me. I can go for another Scorching Sands here. This is going to be able to connect again here. Gonna get them low. We can go for the swap out. And we have another debuff coming their way with the Lunge coming in here. And this is going to put them already into a range where I can just Quick Attack them down. And there's nothing the opponent can do here anymore, which is great to be seen. As you're going to see here, the Corsola is going to go down with a Quick Attack as well. We have moves stored for the opponent. They decide to forfeit. Second to last battle, again, Talonflame in the lead. Like, there's been so many bad matchups for me today, but it's going to be okay. We still were able to do some solid things here with this team. As you will see, the opponent is going to go for a Brave Bird. They are going to have a very solid position here, at least that's what you might think, but as we will see, they reveal that they're going to have Ferrothorn in the back, a Pokemon that, by the way, would get two-shotted when Fire Punch is going to get a buff, which is not the case right now. It doesn't do a two-shot straight away. But as soon as Fire Punch is going to get buffed, this move is going to two-shot them easily here, which is going to be cool. But as you will see, the opponent decides to just invest one shield and then just let the Pokemon go down. I can now go ahead and go into my Lunge Ariados. Lunge is going to be neutral. My fast move is going to be single resisted. But as we will see here, I'm going to try my best to go for the full farm down, but as I decide to go for a charge move and it's the Thunder, I know that I can swap out of here, get a fast move advantage with my Feraligatr, and this might come in clutch. We're going to see a Moongus in the back, and while it's being a grass type, it does attack with Astonish, which is a ghost type move, not doing super effective damage against me, and I was able to get a ton of energy against the opponent. Ice Beam is going to be able to get the shield. We can use a shield here as well. This is going to be a foul play coming through, and we can go for a Hydro Cannon against the opponent, but they decide to forfeit already because they knew the game was over. Final battle. We're going to have a very okay lead. It's not the best lead ever, but it's a solid lead nonetheless, because we're going to have access to Lunge. Lunge going to one-shot this, double super effective, stab move. But they're going to do, of course, super effective damage with their fast move as well. Ariados usually wins this in the 0, 1s, and 2-shield scenario, so there's nothing the opponent can really do here. And we can just play it out. We are expecting that the opponent very likely going to swap out eventually here. I don't think they're going to... Or maybe they're going to let the Malamar go down. I don't know. We decided to use a shield here. Foul play coming through. And they decide to swap out now into the Toxapex. I have the energy still stored for later on. I have my Diggersby for this Pokemon. And I can just go for a Scorching Sands, hoping for a debuff. As Brine is going to add up a little bit. It's going to be super effective, even though it doesn't look like it. Brine is a horrible move. I think it's 65 damage for 58 energy, which is horrible, like literally a really bad move, which is great because we need Brine in order for this Pokemon to be balanced. Otherwise, Toxapex would be just too broken. And that's great. Like, honestly, Brine is a great move. They should keep it like this. Never buff Brine. We don't need more bulky Pokemon. But as you will see here, we're going to be able to get the knockout against the opponent. The Azumarill is coming back in here. We're going to have at least a Scorching Sands for them. I'm just going to let my Diggersby go down here at this point. No reason to really swap out. And yeah, it's going to be a bit of a difficult matchup to still win this one. I'm maybe going to try to catch a move soon. I have a little bit of lag there as well. It was a bit clunky for sure. Player is coming through. I can try my best here. They're going to swap out. I can still go into the Ariados, go for another charge move. But it's going to be a tough one to still win this battle. I have to get to basically a Trailblaze in order to win this still. And I can. And this is going to make this matchup all of a sudden a winnable matchup for us. Trailblaze is coming through. We're going to be able to go for the Hydro Cannon, and this is going to be it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Again, shout out to MeWeedle, link in the description to them. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you then. Bye bye.